Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today this video is going to be pretty different. So I am going to be showing my book collections of Disneyland and Walt Disney, and I actually do have a magazine that's actually dedicated about Disney in general. So for that, I want to start showing you first I do want to show all my Disneyland books, then I'll get to the Walt Disney ones, and then later on I'll do the Disney part right after that. So yeah, here's a big stack of them. It's pretty. Here we go. Look at that. That's kind of a lot of books I have about Disneyland and Walt Disney and some Disney books in general. So the first book I got right here in my hand, that is the Imagineering Field Guide for Disneyland, which is a great book, and it's published by Imagineers, and it goes into full details. It shows you some concept arts of when they first were building Disneyland, the attractions and everything, and some facts, and it talks about like the lands and everything, and it's really cool. And I love this book. Really like it a lot, and not only this is about Disneyland, but how Imagineering does and everything when it comes to park designs. Second, here's facts about Disneyland. Yep, you can get this at like Barnes & Noble, and I'm pretty sure you can get this on Amazon too if you can find one of these. And it just gives you all the facts about Disneyland, like some of the secrets and all the other stuff around the park and everything. And it's a really good book. I really like it, and that's where I get some of my facts for my fact videos for Disneyland. Is some of it comes from this book. And then the second here, this is actually official guide for Disneyland when it comes to like, planning things out, like what time you should get there, the budget for Disneyland, of how much money you should spend and everything, and what ride you should get on first, and that type of stuff. Well, these are the ones that are published by this publisher right here. I believe that's, I think, let me look inside real quick. 1 second. Unless if I can find it in here. Yeah, this is the person who edited this book, does the guides and everything for Disneyland. And yeah, it talks about everything. It gives you all the information about Disneyland and what's coming to the parks for like this year and all that stuff. It's really cool. And this is the one I got from last year. This is like a new edition of it. And yeah, and again, it tells you everything of when is the best time to go to Disneyland, and what's the worst time to go, and what the temperature will be like in those months and everything, and the average rainfall and all that. And it also talks about what's outside of Disneyland, like what places you should go to and what theme parks you should visit besides Disneyland, like Knott's Berry Farm or Universal or Legoland or whatever, and how to pack for traveling to Disneyland, reservations for hotels, everything. It gives you everything of what you can find on the website for Disneyland and everything, and it's a good book. So yeah, you can get these at Barnes & Noble, even at your AAA office as well, which both of these were from AAA. Oh yeah, and the other thing I also have is another Imagineering Field Guide. This is for Disney's California Adventure. There it is right there. Yeah, and it's like the same thing like Disneyland. It talks about every single land in California Adventure and all the designs and everything, the facts and secrets and all that stuff by the Imagineering department. And it talks about Cars Land and everything, of how they planned it out and all that. It's really cool. And you get to see all kinds of concept of the new attractions and everything, the ones when they were first building Disney's California Adventure, which that's really cool. And then recently I got this for Christmas present, which I actually turned something back from Barnes & Noble, and they gave me store credit for this, and I decided to get this. It's a book about Walt Disney. This is called Disney's World. So it talks about story about Walt Disney, and here's some pictures right here. Walt in his early days of his company with Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. Really cool. I did start reading the book when I first got it, and I haven't read it in a while. And yeah, and then there's War Kimball. He was one of the famous animators for Disney, and was really into trains like Walt. And then here's this book I actually have read a lot. This one is called The Disneyland Story. It talks about the complete history of Disneyland and all the other informations that we have never heard about in this book. And yeah, and it talks about the days when Disneyland was first being designed and built and everything, and it goes all the way until like the year 2015. That's when this book came out, just before the 60th anniversary started. Just started Disneyland, and I got this at Barnes and Noble when it first came out, so that's really cool. And it goes into really detail a lot of things of what goes on behind the scenes and everything, and all the complete history of Disneyland. So that's really cool. I love that book. Then I got this a couple months ago as a gift. This is Who Was Walt Disney? And it's kind of like a children's book, but yeah. And then there's some other history stuff that I didn't know about Walt Disney at this time by reading this book and everything. And yeah, it's just a story about him. And this is something kids can read about, and especially for teens and young people out here like myself who can learn more history and more about Walt Disney in general. So yeah. And then another book about Walt Disney. This one is also my favorite too. I'm almost done with this book actually. I'm halfway finished, and yeah, here's some pictures too about Walt Disney. Some of it is Walt, and others are from people who actually worked with them before. There we go. And there's pictures of Disneyland and Walt Disney at the studio, and yeah, it talks about everything about Walt Disney. This one is called Walt Disney an American Original. So, and it's a Disney edition one, so it's published by Disney. And then here are the magazines I got here. This one is about Wonder of Disney. It talks about everything about Disney movies. Talks about the parks too, Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, and pretty much everything about Disney. And it's really cool, and you will see some like Star Wars stuff, some Marvel stuff in this magazine. And it talks about all the decades of Disneyland, like the history of the decades of Disney in general and everything. And yeah, talks about everything. It's really neat. And right here, I got this since Mickey Mouse turned 90. This is about Mickey Mouse, a 90th magazine edition. I think this is this Life magazine? Oh wait, no. Oh wait, actually, it's a Disney edition magazine. So it talks about the history of Mickey Mouse, celebrating 90 years of this iconic character, and did read actually all of it. Actually, I pretty much read the whole entire thing, and did get to learn more stuff about Mickey, and especially with Walt Disney on the character and all that stuff. Really cool. And if you're a huge fan of Mickey Mouse and you like to learn the history and behind the scenes of it, this is a magazine you should probably get. You'll probably get this. You probably can find these online, like whether Amazon or eBay or whatever. So there you go. Then these two other magazines I got are all dedicated to the parks. This one is an ultimate guide of the Disney theme parks, of how it began, iconic attractions, new attractions, and inside secrets. And it talks about pretty much every single Disney park around the world. And did run the whole entire thing. And of course, I'm a huge Disney park guy, like Disneyland in general and Walt Disney. Not really too much on the Disney side that much, but do appreciate of of the culture and everything of what Disney has to offer for all ages. So it's really something, huh? And this one's from Life magazine of Inside the Disney Parks, and it talks about pretty much everything about the Disney parks, like the histories of both Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris, Shanghai Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland. Pretty much talks about everything. So, with that said, and I got two more books to go. This one is definitely one of my favorites, and this one is Disney Imagineering, and this here just shows you. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. 1 second. Just shows you a bunch of concept arts of theme parks, of the rides and the shows and the restaurants and everything. It's really cool. And if you're a huge Imagineering history stuff and everything of how they designed everything and all that stuff and going behind the scenes of how they did and how the magic works and everything, it's really cool. And if you're thinking about being a Disney Imagineering, this is the type of book you should read. And you get to learn more about it a lot, especially when it comes to the concept arts and everything, which that is really cool. And I did got this for Christmas, and I really love this book. I really enjoyed it so much, and yeah, I'm just fascinated with the Imagineering stuff, like of the animatronic technologies, concept arts, and some ideas that were thought of before, but then turned out not to be reality, but more fantasy side and everything. And for that, last but not least, this one, I actually bought this online from Amazon. It's called Yesterday's Tomorrow. And it's kind of like this book, the Imagineering book, but it talks about everything talks about the histories of how they designed not just Disneyland, but again, just like all these other books, and it does talk about some other stuff that people haven't heard about and everything, and also talks about Walt Disney's vision for the future and everything, and technology, and it's more on the park side. This is actually all dedicated to the park side, actually, now as I read more about this. So I did actually read this when I first got it, and yeah, that was just, I really did enjoy this book so much. And yeah, it talks everything about the history of animatronic technology, the attractions, pretty much everything. And talks about the 1965 World's Fair and Walt's original vision for Walt Disney World of Epcot and everything, that he was working on the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And yeah, and before I got this on Amazon, I actually saw this in Las Vegas because we went to Caesar's Palace. This was like last year, and there was a store that was dedicated to Disney. It's actually like the Disney Warner Art Gallery at what was it called? Oh yeah, at Caesar's Palace, or actually, wait, no. Thinking of something else. Oh yeah, Warner Art Gallery. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. The Warner Art Gallery at downtown Disney. It's just like this, except they gave it a different name there. And I saw this book. I'm like, wow, that book looks really interesting. And then I took a peek at it to see what it was like inside of the pictures and everything, and I was like, wow, this is a good book. I want to get this. So found it online, and it was pretty expensive at Caesar's Palace. And not only they have books there, but they also have like art pictures and everything of Disney characters and the parks and all that stuff. It was really neat going inside, and it's located at the Caesar's Palace Forum Shop. It's like on the third or second floor. It's somewhere when you first enter into the Forum Shop. So yeah, that's really neat. And yeah, pretty soon I'll be getting more books about Disneyland. Like I found one that's called Walt Disney's Disneyland. I saw that at the Disney Water Art Gallery at Downtown Disney, so I'll probably get that in the near future. And I do have another one on my bookshelf. I won't be getting it, but it's like very underneath. It's a book about just Disneyland. It just has like pictures and some history stuff and everything. I did got it from Disneyland like a long time ago. It was about 8 years ago, and I have read that book already. And yeah, so yeah, that is pretty much it of what I have to show you of my Disneyland, Walt Disney, and some Disney book collections that I collect in my room. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to show you. Alrighty, thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. And if you did enjoy this video and like to see more of my videos and really enjoy this channel, you can hit the subscribe button. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.